Would you be willing to take a chance and try something new?
Welcome everyone, my name is JJ from the Enoch generation. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about Spongebob and occultism and Illuminati symbols and all that kind of stuff. Now, I've been a Spongebob fan for many years. I have the first 3 seasons in a box, I have separate DVDs, and I just love the humor, the silliness, and also the grown-up jokes that kids don't understand. I've also been a researcher of occultism in media, music and film industry for quite some years. So to combine that, I decided to make this video to inform you about what's going on in SpongeBob lately. Now after season 3 it already started to get weird with SpongeBob because I don't know if you remember the episode with that filthy worm that they found, and it was so weird. It was nothing like the previous episodes. It was dirty, it was weird, it was a little bit scary, and the worm got babies, and it was all very, very awkward. And also after season 3, when they were falling down or they got something on their head, their bones were sticking out, their organs exposed and falling out, and overall it had a lot of weirdness in a negative way, and it kind of felt to me that they changed something to the way they approach SpongeBob and how they were putting together their episodes. Also, you can see that in season 4, some very weird symbols and storylines are introduced, and it's about Freemasonry, and they actually show Masonic symbols. So you must be wondering, what is Freemasonry? Well, Freemasonry, I got here this picture. It has like the most important symbols of Freemasonry. And Freemasonry is pretty old. This picture is, or drawing actually I have to say, is from 1870. And Freemasonry is a very old spiritual club. It's not really a religion, it's more like a gathering of religious people, and it doesn't even matter what kind of religion you are, as long as you're not an atheist. It's based on initiation and secrecy, so that's where you get all the conspiracies theories from, because it's a secret society and they talk behind closed doors and they have secret rituals and stuff like that. And it's kind of an opposite of for example, a Christian church. If you get into a Christian church, they will be glad to tell you everything they believe, and you are free to accept it or to step out of the door, and that's it. With Freemasonry, it's different. They will not tell you what they believe. They will only try to get certain people interested in joining the brotherhood, is what they call it. And those people are mostly influential people, people with money, people with power on certain positions, or people with great talent, because they can use that. And within the club, they can also talk about business after the ceremonies. And it's a very inaccessible group of people, organization. It's a worldwide organization, and they mainly communicate with hidden codes and signs. They love to sign to each other, give each other a secret handshake. That's what you can see in this picture. Here's a handshake of a typical Freemason handshake, and it's when they give the other guy, they shake their hand, and at the same time they press with their thumb on their knuckles. And then also, depending on which knuckle they press, they can communicate in which degree they are, because Freemasonry is really based on rankings and degrees, and they have multiple branches. One of the most known branch of Freemasonry is the Scottish Rite, and it has 33 degrees. And you start off with just the first, second, and third degree, and they call it Blue Lodge Masonry. And it's basically the biggest group of Masons, and they overall they don't really know what's going on in the higher degrees, what they actually believe in the higher degrees. They come and join the club. They swear an oath, blindfolded with their hand on the Bible, that they will not reveal the secrets that they will learn in the craft. And then if they are lucky, or if they are important enough or have talent enough, they can go up into the uh, red lodge Freemasonry, and that's also what you, for example, see in the Matrix. Neo gets the choice between the blue pill and the red pill, and that's a symbol for does he want to get to know the secrets, or does he want to stay ignorant and stay happy and just in his own little world. And that's what most Blue Lodge Masons are. They don't know what's going on. The belief system of the Freemasons is similar to New Age, and it's based on Theosophy and Kabbalah. Theosophy is like getting to know secrets, and therefore getting spiritual enlightened and getting to know more about God, supposedly, because you have secret knowledge that other people don't have. That's basically Theosophy. And Kabbalah is the Jewish form of that. It's like very old. It's like Jewish mysticism and numerology and hidden meanings behind text in the Old Testament and also in the New Testament. And Madonna is, for example, a huge fan of the Kabbalah. And within all these philosophies, it's all about duality. You will always see opposites. You will see up and down, you see black and white, you see male and female, you see the sun and the moon, and you see a lot of those things already in this chart. You see the black and white floor, the checkerboard floor, which is very common in Hollywood movies. Like every other movie I watch, I'm telling my girlfriend, hey, look, there's another black and white floor. And also you see the two pillars, which are the two pillars from the Temple of Solomon, because Freemasons also love to take symbols from the Bible and twist it in their own way and give it their own meaning, because they also want to act like they're some sort of Christians. They use the Bible, but they're also using the Quran and Buddhistic scripts and stuff like that. You see also the ladder on the left side. It symbolizes the steps that Freemasons take to get up into the higher degrees. So that's a very important symbol. You see the all-seeing eye is above. That's like the most important symbol of Freemasonry. They tell you, if you ask about it, it's the eye of God. But in the higher degrees, like the 30th degree of Scottish Freemasonry, they will tell you in the end, when you've gone through all the ranks and all the ceremonies and all the plays you have to do, and all the curses you have to put upon yourself, that you will not reveal the secrets. They will tell you in the end, Lucifer is God because he told Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden the difference between good and evil. He showed them the tree of knowledge, and he said, if you eat from the tree, you will become like gods. And that's a lie, of course, but in the highest degrees of Freemasonry, they believe that Lucifer is God and that the serpent is the wise serpent that gave the light. And that's also the place where the Illuminati comes into play, because a Freemason is not automatically a member of the Illuminati, but members of the Illuminati are most of all Freemasons, but only higher degrees, because that's when they learn about the true religion of Freemasonry, and that's Luciferian. They believe Lucifer is the god of this world. And in fact, it's true because it says in the Bible, but they believe that the God of the Bible, Yahweh, is the bad guy and that he withholds the pleasures and the wisdom from us humans, and that the snake was so gentle to give us the hint. But actually, that's why the whole world fell into sin. So, yeah, that's like a nice oxymoron there. I can show you also the very well-known pyramid, and we all know this symbol. It's on the back of the dollar bill, and you can just see it like the rows at the bottom are Freemasons. They don't really know a lot what's going on, and then they go up, 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 and then over here you have the Illuminati, the people with lots of power, lots of money. Mainly they are presidents and CEOs of big corporates, companies, and also maybe some pop stars, but I think pop stars are mostly puppets, and they're not really automatically into the Illuminati, but they are so influenced that they show signs of Illuminati because they actually show who their true masters are. And then at the top you see the all-seeing eye with the light around it, and that's not the eye of God, it is the eye of Lucifer, because he is the light bearer. That's what his name means. To get back to Spongebob, here is on Wikipedia the list of all the episodes. So what I'm about to show you, you can just all check if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Here are all the seasons, all the episodes, and also you can watch them. You can watch them on kisscartoon.me. There are all the seasons of SpongeBob, and this is also how I checked the symbols, because I don't want to get my DVD, put it in the DVD player, and then scroll, and because it's so much easier to check it on the PC. So you can do your own little research. Maybe you find even more than what I found. But at the start, I did some research about the creators of SpongeBob, of course, because they decided to put in weird symbols and weird stuff. Steven Hillenburg and Paul Tibbitt, I couldn't find pictures where they did some kind of a symbol or an all-seeing eye or something on their t-shirt or whatever. But I could find something about the family of Paul Tibbitt, what it may be his family, maybe not his direct family, but it's the same name. I found Paul Harrison Tibbitt, who died in 1978, so it could be his grandfather. I don't know. He was apparently buried in the George Washington Memorial Park. But it has a clear Freemason symbol on it, and for his wife, it is the Order of the Eastern Star logo, which looks exactly like the Church of Satan logo, but yeah. That's it's very much of a coincidence, I guess, or maybe not. But this indicates that there might be Freemasons in Paul Tibbitt's family, but of course you cannot conclude this because it might be someone else. But at least we know that some of the creators or some of the writers of the storyboards must be Freemasons, because they show signs and symbols and secrets. And to give you an example, I will just close this one, and as the first one I will talk about this episode. It's called Good Neighbors, and it's in season 4, episode 4B, and it starts with Patrick and SpongeBob having a secret club. They came up with making a secret club, and they want Squidward to join. And they tell him, by the all-seeing eye, ye are worthy, we are not. And then after that, they're giggling, and it's all some kind of a joke. But yeah, the all-seeing eye, we talked about that, is the most important Masonic symbol. And After that, this is not the only thing. They wear hats, by the way, which are hats of Shriner Freemasons. That's another branch. They have typical hats from that. They wear that, and also Spongebob is showing the duality. That's one arm down, one arm up, and this looks like a satanic hand sign. It also could mean I love you in deaf language, but the deaf language was designed by an occultist, Helen Keller. So you could say she maybe put it on purpose there and made it look like a satanic hand sign. Uh, Maybe so to say I love Satan, but yeah, I cannot prove any of that, but it's coincidental. Also very clear the all-seeing eye on this Shriner hat, which SpongeBob wears. And what he says is, "You're the president of the secret royal order of the Good Neighbor Lodge." And this is typical, a title that Masons wear. Not exactly this, but in this spirit. They have very long titles, and the higher they come up in the degrees, the longer and more impressive the titles get. So they can all feel great about themselves. And after that, you also see some sort of meeting, and well, only Patrick shows up because they started the club, and he's just sleeping. But also here you can see the all-seeing eye, and in the end, what is very very typical, they say, "As members of the Good Neighbor Lodge, we are sworn to protect our president from danger," because Squidward ran off or something, and they want to protect him. And this is exactly what Masons need to do. They are sworn with a blood oath to protect their brothers who are also sworn in. So if they see a brother in danger, they will try to help him whatever the cost. So this is a secret of Freemasonry, hidden in plain sight for everyone to see. Mostly kids will see it, and if it's in a house where the dad or the grandfather is a Freemason, they might see and recognize the secret. They might go like, "Oh, wow, the creator of SpongeBob must be a Freemason." But yeah, most people won't understand anything. They think, "Oh, it's just a silly cartoon. What are they talking about? I don't understand," and they forget it. But the Freemasons will understand, and that's what they love to do. Uh, they love to fuel themselves better because they have secret knowledge that the common man doesn't have. Next episode I want to show you is also in season 4, episode 16B, and it's called Hocus Pocus. Well, it's mainly an episode about magic, and SpongeBob is watching a commercial, and if you want to be, if you don't want to be a dull guy, or you want to be cool for your friends, then order this magic package, and you will become a magician. And then, well, SpongeBob orders it, and blah blah blah. And then something goes wrong. He thinks he turned Squidward into an ice cream. And then he goes to the headquarters of the magician of the commercial, and this is what it actually looks like. It's a very long pathway with a checkerboard floor and a huge all-seeing eye on the door. So that's very typical. And also inside, you see again a checkerboard floor. Although this is not really correct, it should be like all the same squares. And also on the inside, a very big all-seeing eye and lots of more eyes. And the story is not really convincing about anything of Freemasonry or magic. It's just one big silly joke. But the symbols are there, and that's why I put this also between the other episodes. Next episode is called Cephalopod Lodge. Kind of a hard name. I think it has to do something with the biological term for squids. And lodge is typical the building they call where the Freemasons gather. Lodges can also be for other kind of clubs, but a Freemason always calls his temple or his place where he gathers, always calls it a lodge. So that's already the first sign. And it gets even more clearer. This is like the most clearly symbolic episode with Freemasonry in, because Squidward is part of a club and he goes there, and the building is a pyramid with a capstone missing, or not missing but in a different color, and a huge all-seeing eye, which is clearly showing the symbolism. Before he wants to go into the building, he has to give the guy at the door a secret handshake, and it's kind of a joke because they do all kind of weird stuff. But it's very typical because then it's some sort of a password. And after he did this correctly, he is free to enter the door. This guy has like an outfit with a hat with an all-seeing eye on the wall, all-seeing eye on the door. So it's very clearly about Freemasonry here already at the start. And if you go further into the episode, oh, by the way, it's season 6, episode 27. I didn't mention that. If you go further into the episode, you see Squidward also putting his hat on, and all these brothers here gathering, having fun, having talks, all meeting in secret. And then the ceremony starts. Then they all go stand in line, and then the worshipful master, is what they call it, appears, and he is the leader. He is the highest degree of all the Masons in the room, so he will lead the ceremony. And here you have the guy with a very big hat with an all-seeing eye on it. And they're about to do an initiation of someone who wants to join for the first time. And the typical thing is they have for this initiation some sort of sea snake, which is also called an electric eel. And what it does, it some sort of electrocutes the new initiate into his forehead with its tail. You can see that in this screenshot. And it's very typical because, well, in the first place, the higher degree Freemasons believe that the wise serpent Lucifer gave us light. He enlightened us with the knowledge of good and evil, and also, well, this is a snake, and it gives this guy enlightenment. And the way it does it is very typical because, for example, in Buddhistic religion, in Hinduism, you see people wearing a dot between their eye on their forehead. In India, you see this, for example, a little red dot, and it resembles being spiritual awaken or spiritual enlightenment. And that's exactly what's happening here. The serpent is giving the new initiate enlightenment by opening his third eye, and it results in a burning mark on his forehead where his third eye is. So that's very typical and no coincidence. In the next screenshot, you see they're all very cheerful and happy that he fulfilled his initiation and is now a brother and is part of the group. And after this, it's all becoming silly again because Spongebob and Patrick secretly followed Squidward into the lodge, and they're all very upset and angry because it's a secret meeting and they're not supposed to be here because they are not initiated. So yeah, and then as a result, Squidward and Spongebob and Patrick are all get kicked out of the lodge, and Squidward is losing his membership because he betrayed the secrets. He betrayed the lodge, and that's pretty much the end of the episode. And then the fourth and last episode I want to talk about is Toy Store of Doom. This is in season 6, episode 31, and it's not really about Freemasonry very clearly, but it has symbols and well, subliminal messages into the backgrounds. And as you can see here, this is a little bit at the start. There's a whole mountain of toys here in the living room. And when you just look at it very quickly, and it also goes to the next scene or next shot very quickly, then you don't see anything. But if you take a closer look, you see in the right corner below, you see a little alien head, and you see a pyramid with the capstone marked and an all-seeing eye. So you see they deliberately put in a very uh, powerful symbol of the Masons and of Illuminati into the shot. And the next shot, yeah, it's about the same. And then the story basically is they're going to a toy store and they stay in the store after closing time, and it gets dark and it all gets very scary. And then suddenly you see this pyramid here again in the toy store. It doesn't have any use, it's just there, and it's just that people will see it and they don't understand. And well, the reason they do this is it's not very clear to me, but I think basically what the higher degree Freemasons and members of the Illuminati believe is that symbols are very powerful. Like with one little drawing or one little picture, you represent a whole ideology or a whole belief system. And they believe that when you see something and you don't know it, when you go to sleep, you will process it and it will be put into your subconscious. And your subconscious is often what people react from without even knowing, because they are programmed deep inside their brain. And they believe it gives them power because this is shown to the masses, and especially to younger people, to children, and they will see symbols that are very rich in background and meaning, and they believe they will get more power over the world just by showing symbols and programming little kids and people watch it. And how they exactly gain power from this is not very I don't really know how it exactly works, because it's some sort of a spiritual process. But what I want to accomplish with this video, for example, is that you open your eyes and you're not watching television and movies like a dumb sheep. Like, oh, it's just entertainment and I see all kinds of stuff and I just laugh and cry and it's just fun. No, just be careful what you watch, because everything you ever see and hear is recorded in your brain, and you might not remember it all the time, but it is there, and it can influence you. And I just want people to be more careful, because there's a whole world of symbols and a whole world of stuff they do in front of the eyes of the public, and most people will never know what it means. And now we've come to the final part of this video, and it's about the latest movie. Now I want to warn you, if you didn't see the movie yet and you don't want any spoilers, I'm just showing some screenshots, I will not show any video, but by the things I'm telling you, you will already know a little bit what's going to happen. So if you don't want any spoilers, then yeah, skip this part. But it's very interesting, and maybe you want to see it, so you will see the symbols when you're watching the movie. So that's up to yourself. Basically, I will not tell the whole story, I will just tell what's happening in the scene. This is Sandy's home with the tree, and basically what they're doing is they're putting Sandy into the movie as a conspiracy theorist, someone who is researching, someone who is seeing connections in what's going on in the world, and she's connecting the dots. You see a lot of like these threads here, and all these notes and all these drawings and symbols, And actually they've hidden some Illuminati or Freemason symbols among these drawings and pictures and notes. But the purpose of why they put in a conspiracy theorist, I will tell you during these screenshots. You see, well, maybe you cannot really see it if you're watching this video on high definition. You might see there's like a pyramid with some sort of, yeah, um, rays of light, or I don't know. But you first of all, you see a lot of triangles and maybe something here. This looks a little bit like the logo of the Freemasons, but it's not very clear yet. So let's go on to the next. This is where Spongebob runs into Sandy, but Sandy is running so fast that the wind is making leaves and notes go up, and you see very quickly in a few shots, a few frames, you see a picture with a butterfly. And if you don't know anything about that, you will firstly you will not even see it because it's going too fast. But later on, we will talk about that. She is researching so much, so she doesn't have any time for for cutting her fingernails and stuff like that. Also, I want to mention there's a ladder here, which might indicate the ladder of the Freemasons, the steps you go up. But it could also be a coincidence. I don't really know. I cannot prove it, of course. But I just want to highlight some stuff for you guys. Here you see a chalkboard. You see like a pentagon shape with a pyramid inside, infinity symbol. There's all kinds of stuff. It could be fantasy, it could be deliberate put there. But there is some stuff coming up which is definitely more clear than this. For example, it is very small, very small, but you see a triangle with a capstone, and you see this looks like a triangle with an eye, but it's so small that you can hardly see it, and you will not see it if you watch the movie. It's just too small and it goes too fast. This one might be a bit more clear. Again, if you're watching this in high definition, you might see it. Here is a triangle with an eye. And I can actually make it bigger for if people don't see it because they cannot watch in HD. Here, if I make it bigger, you can clearly see it's a triangle. Not only a triangle, it's a pyramid, and there appears to be an eye in it. So yeah, there's that. The next screenshot, here you can see again all the plans and all the stuff. And when you're not really paying attention, you will not notice, again, here's the butterfly with another butterfly below, and it's a specific butterfly. You can actually tell what kind of butterfly it is, and it's a monarch butterfly, which normally has orange color, but this is of course in black and white, and it has the typical word project above it. And when you connect this, when you, for example, if you Google project monarch, then you will find a very old project from the CIA, and it's about mind control. It's about trauma-based mind control, where they have little kids and they traumatize them, they scare them so much, and they do horrible stuff to them, and they will split their personality, and they will get a new personality, which can be programmed because it's new, because of the trauma. And it's a terrible thing. But you can find information about it. I recommend don't go too deep because you're getting depressed if you find out what Secret Service, what dark secrets they have. But it's very weird that it's actually here on the notes, and it's very specific. This kind of butterfly, and you will see a lot of pop stars wearing this butterfly as, for example, jewelry or like artistic form or on their clothes or whatever. And it's all almost every single time it's this specific butterflies out of the 1,000 species you have in butterflies. So then you practically know this is a victim of this MK Ultra mind control what they also call it. Then you have further in this picture, you have a snake curled up around some sort of egg. I don't really know what the symbol means, but it's of course it's a snake again. And you see here a triangle with an eye or some geometrical shapes. And Masons, of course, are builders. From in history, there were first just normal Masons, and then it became a spiritual thing. But they see themselves as the temple builders from the Brothers of Solomon, and they will always use geometrical shapes to hide their secrets and to communicate. So the next screenshot, again you see the ladder, you see the lights. What I find interesting is you see the 33 degrees. And like I told you, the Scottish Rite, the highest degree is 33. So yeah, that's very typical. Why pick this number? And it's just too coincidental. I would say maybe Paul Tibbet or Stephen Hillenburg know a guy who is a 33-degree Mason, because you're not becoming this in 1 or 2 years. It takes, I don't know, 10 or 20 years to get through all the degrees. So I don't think Stephen Hillenburg or Paul Tibbet are those kind of high degrees Masons, but they probably put it in because they look up to the guys they know that are so high. For example, some of the United States presidents were 33 degrees Masons, but not all of them. And in the next, you see Sandy clearly being very well out of her mind. Here on the back again, I mean in the background, 33 degrees. And you see the duality again. You see two triangles with a capstone, and one is up and one is down, to show the balance of good and evil and the knowledge you can gain about that. And this is a very good example of Sandy being totally out of her mind. And this is a picture which shows that she is insane, and it actually teaches the kids and the people who go and see the movie that conspiracy theories are totally nuts, out of their mind and crazy, and you cannot trust them because they're insane. And also very clear, you see the all-seeing eye button here on her clothes that she is wearing. So this is the message, and the whole new generation will be given the idea without even noticing, because they're just following the storyline. And oh yeah, Sandy's doing a little bit crazy, but they don't know. They get programmed by watching this, and the next time they hear someone talk about conspiracies or they see something on YouTube, they will not believe it, because they're already programmed in their subconscious that from Sandy that you are a total idiot if you believe and research, and um, if your business is to find out what conspiracies are going on. But they will not think about Sandy in the movie. They will just have the feeling that you are crazy if you believe stuff like this. So that's very important from the movie, a very important character to explain. Then the next thing I like to show you is they build, for some reasons I'm not gonna explain, a time machine, and it has a blocked curtain motif with blue and white blocks, and some sort of black and white floor blocked. And in the bigger picture of the whole movie, you can clearly state that this is another Freemason symbol. Especially with the next few screenshots I'm gonna show, because so far you could say, well, I'm not really convinced about Illuminati or Freemason symbols in this movie, but they will come. And the next shot I want to show you is they actually activate the time machine, and then they go in the tunnel, and then this weird song from NERD is playing, and it's just very strange and doesn't really fit, in my opinion. But the important thing is Plankton is sitting on the nose of Spongebob and actually is giving Spongebob a third eye, because Plankton has only one eye and he's exactly sitting there. So that's also another symbol I want to show you. and then they end up in a triangle in space. Of course, it's a triangle. It's not a circle. It's not a square. It's a triangle. It has to be a triangle because that's the magic shape of the Illuminati. And then you think, come on, it's just a triangle. But the guy inside is very weird. It's a dolphin in some sort of cloth, like a king, and he's telling them he is the one who watches, like the Watcher. That's also a book, a very ancient book that's referred to in the Bible. It's called Enoch and the Watchers. And the Watchers are the seraphim, the angels that are watching the humans. And he's calling himself the Watcher, and he wears the symbol of the all-seeing eye very clearly. A triangle with an eye with rays of light. And also, he shoots lasers out of his third eye. So he's very powerful. He has a powerful enlightenment, you could say like that. So that's the first one, who is very clear. It's very clearly an all-seeing eye. You can see it even in other close-up screenshots. I made a few. This one is very close up because he's swimming towards the camera. So here you can see it very clearly. And also what's happening while Spongebob and Patrick are meeting this guy is in Bikini Bottom, it's total chaos. It's just martial law and everyone is just doing whatever they want, which is, by the way, a rule in classic Satanism from Aleister Crowley. If you heard of that name once, he says, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, love under will. And, well, that's actually what's happening here. Everyone is doing what they want, and it's all violence and chaos and apocalypse. And Sandy knows the solution because she's totally insane. And she says, we angered the sandwich gods, and we need to make a sacrifice. And then Mr. Krabs, of course, accepts this in his weird gothic SM outfit, which is totally inappropriate for children, by the way. But who cares? It's just a cartoon, so we can do everything we want. And then, well, here again you see how weird this is. This is not for children. It doesn't even... It's not fitting in with SpongeBob at all, if you ask me. But yeah, that's what they do, and everyone is laughing about it. And then they go to some sort of Mayan Aztec temple pyramid, and they're going to sacrifice SpongeBob because that will make everything right, of course. And well, it might be a reference to history. It might be a reference to modern day sacrificial rituals which actually happen, but also something you're not becoming very happy if you read and hear about those things. The next thing I want to show you is we're almost at the end of the video, but also at the end of the movie you see a drawn version. It's clearly a reference to epic rap battles. Pardon me. Because you see the dolphin having a rap battle with the seagulls, and even when he is drawn, you clearly see they want to show you it's an all-seeing eye. This is even more clear than the one in the movie. It's very clearly an eye in a triangle with rays of light, and this guy is supposed to be very powerful and cool. And another hidden symbol is then you see him standing in his triangle, and then of course exactly there in the top is some kind of planet, which should represent some kind of eye, I guess, because it's exactly at the top of the triangle. And another one here very clearly, and then in the end of the movie he disappears in the sky in a black triangle. So yeah, there's that. I would say thank you very much to listening to all the info that I told you, to all the things I showed you. And I would also recommend never believe everyone who's making a documentary or a video, but do your own research. Check out what you think yourself and use your brain, and check the facts. If I show you stuff like this, don't immediately believe me, don't believe someone else, but also do your own research. Thank you all for watching. I plan to do more videos, so hopefully see you soon.